Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So we got a returning video series today, the reverse prep, what not to do in Warframe. Since DE has dropped some big information for the next upcoming months in Warframe updates, I finally feel comfortable making this video again. So we'll be basically covering things that you should not be doing to potentially make yourself not as prepared and as optimized for the upcoming updates. Keep in mind that just because I'm telling you to do this doesn't mean you can't do it. It just doesn't seem like it'd be very smart to put an Umbra Forma on Lavos when Lavos Prime comes out next week, for example. So let's get right into it. But before we do, make sure you're subbed to this YouTube channel. We do daily Warframe video uploads, build videos, news videos, discussion videos, all that kind of stuff. You're in the right place for Warframe content. And we'll also be live on stream tomorrow with the weekly reset, the final weekly reset of this Nightwave. So yeah, lots of stuff happening next week. And we're actually going to break this video down into two sections for the February update and the March updates too. So let's hop right in. Okay, first starting off with the February update in Warframe. What should you not do? Well, first off, next week is this big update to start things off with. We've got February 6th with Rhino Heirloom, the new Nightwave, Star Days returning, the Valentine's event basically, and Operation Belly of the Beast, a real event, is also returning on February 6th. I will link my meta guide for Belly of the Beast 2024, which is still good. I watched it yesterday to make sure it is still good. I also confirmed it can still one-shot the boss. But don't worry, I'll make a 2025 Belly of the Beast guide for 2025 as well, because the meta changed a little bit, I guess. Just the little small things here and there. So, let's start with the first thing. You want to be as prepared for this February 6th update. What should you not do? What should you do? What you shouldn't do is you shouldn't use your Invigoration overrides on anything that's not going to be good to go for next week, basically. So, if you didn't know, the meta for Belly of the Beast is basically to be really tanky and one-shot the mini-boss. How do we one-shot the mini-boss? Usually with melee attacks. There's other ways to do it too, which we can show in the video later. But yeah, I would recommend that you do not use any overrides on any frames besides frames that you'll be planning to use for farming Belly of the Beast. Keep in mind, this event drops Energizes, well, you can get Energizes from it. Avengers, Grace, Guardian, blah, blah, blah. All those Eidolon Arcanes you can farm from Belly of the Beast. So I'll link my description, my guide down below. But yes, if you want to do the most damage, be the most optimized possible, save your override for when this event comes out. It will be around for probably about a month. So things you should be looking out for: melee damage, power strength, melee crit chance. Things that let you have more melee damage will help you one-shot the boss even easier. Additionally, make sure you again, watch my guide from last year. If you get the builds from that guide, you will be set for like Belly of the Beast speed runs, pretty much. So that's the first thing. Next, since we have Rhino Heirloom coming out on that day as well, you might want to make sure you have some plat if you want to buy Rhino Heirloom. No, don't go spend your plat on something silly, I suppose. But additionally, a big thing here that is a good preparing thing for this update is that just because Rhino is the heirloom doesn't mean that we can't have Ember and Glaive relics returning this time as well. So next week, Ember and Glaive will return in the Resurgence. So I'd say don't waste all your Aya on something that you don't really need. For example, it took Glaive Prime multiple years to return to Resurgence. So it coming back again is going to be... it's going to be a big Aya fiesta next week, honestly, because I think the Last Chance week also starts. So you're going to have Ember, Glaive, and all this other stuff. It's going to be kind of nuts. So make sure you have some Aya stacked up if possible to grab Glaive relics. For me personally, I forgot to buy Glaive relics last time it was here, and I was meaning to buy like 100 plus. So I'm going to probably try to buy 100-ish Glaive relics when it comes back for it to be potentially not unvaulted for a very long time afterwards. Okay, so finishing up with the February update here, do not forget to turn in your Nightwave creds. If you didn't know this, Nightwave creds for Nightwave and Warframe, like the Battle Pass thing, mini Battle Pass, these are going to be massively diminished in value after the Nightwave ends. I already spent mine in the first version of this video. I had to re-record. But basically, these creds are used to buy things, but once the series ends, and we go on to Series 8 next week, these will be only available to be sold for credits. So make sure you use these. Get some Nightane with them, which is what I got. You can get the Orican Reactors, you could get some Kuva, you could get some helmets, whatever you want. You can even get some augment mods or aura mods to sell for platinum. The list goes on. So The big thing, though, is just make sure you do spend them on something, or they'll become just some credits in your inventory. You don't really want credits from all that work you did for those Nightwave challenges. Additionally, you could also make sure you grind out to level 30 of this, or at least to, like, level, whatever level you want. Unseen Dread Augment level 25, Burning Hate Augment level 15, I believe. So those will not come back for a while, so you might want to grab those in the Nightwave Pass, which will be going away in a couple days now. 4 days, 22 hours. I think we're pretty much done with February, at least the first part of February now. Yeah, code fixes. So you also, for Star Days, you could hoard some debt bonds to buy those glyphs right away, but it's just a glyph, so who really cares about it, honestly? So yeah, big stuff there. Now we're moving on to the next week of February, Lavos Prime Axis, okay? I said at the beginning of the video, spoilers, you're probably not going to want to Umbra form a Lavos Normal in the next couple of days. You got like 2 weeks till Lavos Prime comes out. It would be kind of a shame to put an Umbra form on Lavos Normal. Not like it would be that big of a deal because Lavos Normal has a lot of armor and health. But yeah, with Lavos Prime coming out in a couple of weeks, and we've already seen the base stats of Lavos Prime, he's getting more HP. He's getting a bit more shields too. It's just going to be a strictly better version of Lavos. So look at my build right here. We have, no Umbra Formas on here. You can put Umbra Formas on Lavos Prime and not feel bad at all. So look for a build with Umbra Formas or Umbra Polarities on it. It will let me have a lot more mod capacity on this build. Now that we've established that, what you can also do is you can stack up your Syndicate rep. So any place that has relic packs. So these Syndicates over here, you can grab relic packs. For right now, so Hildren is another thing. Hildren is actually getting vaulted next. So anything in Hildren, Shade, and Larkspur are being vaulted next. I would recommend that you get those items if you don't have them already for Mastery. So yeah, Hildren Prime, Shade Prime, and Larkspur Prime. Not exactly the most meta items in the game, but still, they're going away. For example, this will not happen. You will not see a new Hildren relic from relic packs after February 12th, I think it is, when Lavos comes out. So get all the Hildren stuff you want before that date, or you might have a harder time getting them. For example, Revenant was like 20 or 25 plat while he was unvaulted. Once Revenant Prime got vaulted, he's gone to like 50 or 60 plat. So the prices go up over time, but the biggest thing is it's harder to get it yourself. If you don't want to buy everything in Warframe, it is basically near impossible to get vaulted frames unless you wait for the Aya Resurgence, or if you basically get lucky in a public matchmaking squad. It's like, oh, that guy's had a Hildren relic equipped. There we go. So yeah, big stuff there, guys. Stack up Syndicate rep for relic packs, and also, if you don't have Hildren, Larkspur, and Shade, make sure you grab those. Okay, we can definitely move on to March now. That's enough of February. So moving on to March, we've got the Infested Liches, and a bunch of other stuff too. We've got a Aura Forma turning Omni Forma. That's going to be a big thing we're going to focus on here, and also Pseudo Exalted rework. And also Infested Lich weapons. So let's start with the Infested Lich stuff. That's the most fun to talk about. Okay, so there's 13 Infested Lich weapons. And as far as what those weapons will be, I'm going to go ahead and let you know right now. Careful with the ribbons for these weapons right here, okay? These weapons will become Infested Lich weapons in the update. And their dispo will be low, but the stats will be bumped up a lot on the base weapons. So you might want to be careful with getting rid of these ribbons specifically, okay? Primaries. Sporothrix Sniper Primary, Hema Burst Rifle Primary, Synapse Beam Rifle Primary. Careful with getting rid of those ribbons. For secondaries, Tysis Corrosive Dart Launcher, Pox Throwing Star Nasty Thing, Cannibalist, I don't even know what that thing's supposed to be. So Cannibalist, Tysis, Pox, do not delete those ribbons if you can resist. And for melees, Mire Infested Sword, Haruto Infested Punching Weapon, Pathicist Infested Glaive. That one could potentially be really good when that one comes out, so keep an eye out for that one. And then also the Cost Assist Infested Scythe. That one also might be pretty good too, as it already has a special ability. Additionally, there's 3 new Infested Lich weapons. They are going to be a shotgun, a dual pistol, and a hammer. Okay, so you might want to save some shotgun ribbons, some whatever ribbons for these new upcoming weapons, as we know what they are now. That's enough about the Infested Lich. Another thing, if you really are bad at killing Liches, maybe don't start a Lich before the Infested Liches in March, because you will have to currently not have a Lich active to fight an Infested Lich, so be really, really careful about that one. But here's the big stuff I want to talk about. So Omni Forma is going to be a new feature added to Warframe. It is going to be basically a universal Forma, besides Umbra Forma polarities, and they are going to be able, you can actually farm them right now. The Aura Forma item in Warframe is being basically turned into an Omni Forma instead. But here's the thing. Here's the issue, potentially, to you. The crafting requirements for these Omniforma are quite steep. So if you see, for example, right here on my Lavos, this would be the exact way that the Omniforma will work. So I can put any polarity up there, and it will work just the same. V polarity, double dash polarity, singular dash polarity, D polarity. All these polarities work here. That is being added to Warframe builds. They want to add it to weapons too, but as of right now, it does not work on weapons according to the devs. So it will work on weapons eventually, but it will not at launch, potentially. We're not sure about that. It's still like 2 months away, so they're still working on it. That being said, if you want to get these universal formas that will work on everything besides Umbra polarities, how can you stack them up right now? Well, you can literally just go build them right now, which is a very steep build cost, or you could buy them in the market, which I'd probably recommend to use. Now, as far as what we're talking about here, the Aura Forma is what you need to build if you want to get these things. But if you look at the build requirements, 4 built Forma and 10 Nitane and an Argon Crystal, in addition to a 100,000 credit cost and a 24-hour build time. So if you add it all up, it's about 5 days of waiting to get one of these. And not to mention, you're spending 4 Forma to build it in the first place. So you sacrifice 4 Forma and 10 Nitane to build this. It will work for nearly any polarity on your build. So you could stack these up and build them. Sure, you could. As you can see, I have 62 Aura Forma blueprints. So just putting in perspective, I don't build these. I wouldn't recommend that you build these either, but you could technically build them. Again, I have 62 blueprints, and I don't think I've built a single one. What I'd recommend to you is that you go over here and buy them instead. It might sound silly to you, but if you think about how much time you're saving, how many days of waiting you're saving, it's not that bad. So 80 platinum for 1 Aura Forma means it will be basically an Omniforma going forward. But here's the thing, 80 plat for one of them is kind of expensive. 150 plat for 3 of them isn't as bad. It's basically buy 2, get 1 free, but a little bit better. So I'd say if you want to grab a bunch of Omniforma for making your builds as min-max and flexible as possible, I'd recommend that you farm platinum, or buy platinum technically, and get the Aura Forma bundle. If you want to keep building them, just do arbitration missions. The blueprints drop there. But yeah, just keep in mind, you're going to be building days and days and days of Forma just to have a couple Omniforma sitting around. Now, are Omniforma excellent that you should be pursuing as a Warframe player? I would say they're definitely not for everybody at all. Even for me, I'm not going to put Omniform on every frame. I'm going to put Omniform on frames I play a lot, and frames that have lots of different builds I switch between. So for example, Mirage is a great example. I've got the wrong polarity here. I've got, a completely wildly different build on some of these. Like, I will probably put at least 2 Omniform on Mirage, I'd say, to make where the builds are a lot more flexible. For example, this one. This one has, you can't even move that. If I was to put an Omniforma here, it would free up a lot of builds probably, and I'd probably have to switch some builds around too. But yeah, in the end, it will be a lot more flexible. But some frames it will not help you with, for example, is going to be frames like Chroma. Any frame you have Umbra Forma on, this does not save you, unfortunately, because I wish they could make it where it's like, okay, can I sacrifice an Umbra Forma and an Omniforma to make these universal? But no, it's not going to be that way. So if you have a build like this on Chroma or whoever, you are not going to be able to fix that. So it's still going to be the situation for some characters you're going to need to have like 2 versions of them if you want to have every flexible option. So there's my triple Umbra Chroma. Here's my no Umbra Chroma. And as you can see, the build is extremely different on this Chroma. So we'll see about that. It is not truly a universal Forma, but it is still pretty close. So I'd say if you want to start stacking those up, get them for like frames that you use lots of different builds on. They have lots of very different builds for those different missions too. We got the last few things here. We got the pseudo-exalted rework. So this one's going to definitely be a little bit hard to explain. So pseudo-exalted rework basically means Korra's Whip Claw, Atlas's Fist, Gara's Shattered Lash, and whatever else I'm forgetting, they will no longer be affected by melee stat sticks. So, for example, if you're looking at the background footage, I'm using Korra with the Magistar, doing millions and millions of damage, red crits too. That is technically being affected by my Magistar Riven and my Magistar Incarnon perks, which give increased crit chance and crit damage at base. That is being removed. You will no longer be able to use the Magistar perks to affect Whip Claw, etc., etc., and they are going to make it where the Pseudo-Exalted have their own modding screen. Now that we establish what's actually being changed, I'm going to tell you what I don't think you should be doing anymore going forward. And also what you should be careful about yourself, not to screw yourself over here. So, with these stat sticks, there are certain weapons that are still going to be extremely, extremely meta and good, even with the stat sticks being literally removed from Warframe. One of them is the Magistar Incarnon. I have seen people selling Magistar Ribbons for stupid, bad prices right now. I'm talking God rolls for 1,000 plat. They are panicked. There's hardcore panic right now for people thinking that Magistar will become bad. I don't know what you guys are thinking, but the Magistar is definitely not just a stat stick at all. So if we look at this build right here, this is my Korra stat stick Whip Claw build. Looks all well and good. High crit, high corrosive, blah, blah, blah. Now you want to look at my level 10,000 Slam build? It's not exactly very different, guys. So, panic selling all these Incarnon ribbons is definitely going to bite you in the butt in the long run, in my opinion. So I would recommend that you don't freak out and sell your Magistar ribbons. Maybe you already did. But reminder, this will still be the Slam Attack meta after they remove stat 6 from the game. This stuff has not been announced to be nerfed at all. So, acting like that the Magistar is just a stat stick and that's why you're freaking out and selling your ribbon for too cheap, it's just going to be a bad thing in the long run for you. So I'd recommend that you don't panic. I'd also recommend that this will go two ways though. Don't panic and sell your Magistar ribbon, but also, if you're someone that was looking to buy a stat stick ribbon, do not buy a stat stick ribbon only. Since stat sticks are being removed in March, I'll show you a good example. So I've had lots of stat sticks in this game over the years. One of them being the Ankyros, okay? The Ankyros is not a meta weapon. It's just not. No one uses it. It's not even in Incarnon. There's a prime version. Hardly even matters. But the big thing here is that the Riven disposition, this is an old stat stick. The Riven disposition is maximum stats. Again, we were using these Rivens to affect our Whip Claw. If you look at my Riven right here, it's very, very similar to my Magistar Riven. And I said, don't get rid of the Magistar Riven. But for these ones, definitely don't buy these ones. For a Riven for a weapon that is only a stat stick, you do not want to be holding on to this when the nerf comes through, okay? So, if you have an Ankyros, like basically a weapon that's not good and is only used as a stat stick, definitely don't buy Rivens for those. If you can get rid of yours, go ahead and do it. But yeah, guys, unless the Ankyros gets an Incarnon, I might as well just delete this Riven right now as it will never be getting used ever. The weapons that you should not be getting rid of ribbons for are weapons that will still be meta and strong. We're talking Slam Attack melees. Ceramic Dagger. Ceramic Dagger will still be extremely strong and OP. So anyone getting rid of Ceramic Dagger and Incarnon ribbons are just being fools. Same with Magistar ribbon sellers too. So that's basically it for the suggestions, guys. Let me know if you have any ideas or suggestions of things I didn't mention in the comments down below. Yeah, just big stuff is like don't get rid of those. Don't get rid of those new infested lich weapons. Don't overform your frames. Definitely don't underform a Lavos. And then yeah, if you can save up rep for February 12th to get a bunch of relic packs, you'll probably be pretty happy about that being Lavos pretty much instantly too. So check it. Go ahead and check out my Belly of the Beast meta guide, and I'll see you guys on stream tomorrow with some more Belly of the Beast meta guides coming out when the event actually drops. All right, guys, have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time. Peace.